Hey, group of Laura and Rebecca. Amy has left us, so that's okay. This is our lesson 11 group meeting, so I'll just be the leader of it today. And just for the info of our TA and teacher, Laura, I have heard from Laura. She had work, but she's definitely been involved in this texting and trying to call in for the group meeting. But so I'm just going to go through this group quiz, which I did do, and I know Laura had questions. Like I said, she's been really involved trying to figure this out as a group. So I'll start with question 3. In the previous lessons, we had to assume the population standard deviation was known. In this lesson, we are making a different assumption about the omega. What has changed? And it is that we assume that it is unknown, which is the first answer. Okay, question 4. The information should be used for the next 2 questions, and it gives us the hypothesis and the null hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis. We know that the standard deviation is not known. We know the size, and we know the x bar 11, and then we also know the sample standard deviation, which is 6. So is the standard deviation known, or omega? And that is no. The answer is no for question 4. Question 5, what is the value of t? And what I did for this is the equation, which is similar to the z-score, but instead now you're trying to find t. So how did I do that? Let's see, I went ahead. Let me go to the book. We go to the top of lesson, and so t equals, this is how we find t, and it's x bar minus, I can't remember these, it's mu, I think is what it's called, over the sample standard deviation divided by the square root of the number. So with this, it would be t equals 11 minus 8 over 6 divided by the square root of 9. And the answer I got was 1.5. All right, moving on. So Laura had a question. She was having trouble in SPSS. And I'll go ahead and tell you how you're supposed to do that, Laura. Okay, so the first thing you do is, if you do not have SPSS on your Mac or computer already downloaded, then what you do is you have to open it in the desktop that's at the school. So you have to open it through the VMware. So hopefully you know how to do that. You go through that process, click on the VMware application, then it'll open the desktop that is at the BYUI campus. Once you do that, you actually go to a web browser. I chose Google Chrome, and then you go to byui.edu, you sign in, you go to your Math 221B class, and we're trying to get into the textbook so we can get into the data files, so we can find body temp, the body temp data file. So then you're doing this all on, what is it called? It's called the remote desktop. You're doing this all on the remote desktop, right? You're opening up body temp. Now what happens is it opens up in Excel. Okay, so it opens up in Excel. We have all the information. Now this question, for question number 6 through, what is it? 6 through 10, it looks like, yeah. So this information for question number 6 through 10 that we see here from 98 all the way down to 98.2, we have to copy and paste that from Excel, and you're going to open up the IBM SPSS Statistics 23 program, and you're going to copy and paste only from 98 through 98.2, which was, let me open up, I have mine open up right here. I'll tell you exactly the number that you had to copy and paste from that column. All right, and that was, how many numbers is that? It's going to be a total of just 20. So I think on the Excel body temp one, you'll highlight starting at row 2, and you're in the body temp column, and you'll go ahead and drag that highlight all the way down to row 21, because it starts at row 2, so it goes down to row 21. We only have 20 variables, and you're going to copy that. So you'll right click, you'll copy it, you'll go to the SPSS program which you have open, and you're just going to go to the top of the variable 1 and row 1. You'll go ahead and click, right click, and paste, and it's going to go ahead and automatically fill in those 20 variables. Okay, so that is how we get that base information. From there, we go ahead and we learn within lesson 11 on, I'll tell you where you can find all of this. You'll go down to step 4, okay, and it tells you the SPSS instructions. It's really easy from here. You're going to go to the menu, click Analyze, then you'll go down, scroll down to Compare Means, and then you're going to go over to One Sample T-Test, and you're going to click on that. It's going to go ahead and bring up a window where you bring the, it'll say variable 0001 or something like that. You're going to bring it over to the test variable section, and then this next part is important. You have to input the mu of your null hypothesis. So there's a box underneath the test variable box that says test value, and you're going to go ahead and enter the mu that was given to us, which was our mean, which is 98.6. I'm busy, sorry. I'm in the middle of a recording. Sorry. Okay, so once we go ahead and then you click on OK, then we'll get all of our information. And all of our information, then we can go ahead and answer the next question through 6 through 10. So question number 6, what is our X bar? And the answer was 98.22. What is the S? Which in the information it's going to say, your answer for S is going to be the standard, what it says the standard deviation is. It doesn't have a box labeled S, it's labeled standard deviation. We just already know that it's not the omega. This is the sample standard deviation of our 20 variable samples. So the answer is 0.922 for number 7. So question number 8, what is the t-score? The answer is negative 1.843. Then we go to question 9. Oh, and how we know that, there's a section in our information given to us in SPSS that tells us the t-value. So then we go to question 9. What is the p-value? So the p-value is going to be given to us in the box that's called, let me see what it's called, sig two-tailed, okay? However, because we see that our null hypothesis is going to be, excuse me, our alternative hypothesis is saying that mu is less than 98.6, that means that we need to take whatever value is in the sig two-tailed box and then divide it by 2. So we had 0.081 given to us as the p-value, but because the p-value in the alternative hypothesis is less than the 98.6, which is mu is less than 98.6, then we have to divide that 0.081 by 2. So the answer for question 9 is 0.041. Okay? And then because the p-value is less than the significance, the level of significance, which is 0.05, the p-value is 0.041 that we got. So what does that mean for question 10? What is the correct decision based on this evidence? Well, the p-value is less than 0.05, so that means we reject the null hypothesis. Anytime it's less than, we reject the null hypothesis, okay? All right, great. So moving on. Now we are given some new information. We are going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did for questions 6 through 10 as far as being able to get that information from Excel and putting it in SPSS. So you're in your remote desktop, and now we're going to go ahead and go back to our web browser where we still have our data files, and we're going to go ahead and find the data file for babyboom-JSE. So then you click on that, and it's going to go ahead and once again open up in Excel. It gives us all the information for babyboom-JSE, but as we see within our quiz, it's only asking for the first 21. So this time it's 21 variables. So you go ahead and you highlight the first variable, and you scroll down all the way to 61, which was 21 variables, okay? You right-click once that column is highlighted, and the column you're highlighting is going to be the wait time column from 59 down to 61. Oops, my battery's dying. 1 second. So then you right-click, you copy and paste into the SPSS. The way you do that is you just click on the very top left box of SPSS. You opened a new blank data set in SPSS, and you just right-click where there's row 1 and you're in column 1, right-click at the very top left box, and then click paste. And that'll go ahead and paste those 21 variables that you copied from the Excel file, okay? So what do we do from there now that we have copied and pasted that? So it asks us, what is the p-value, okay? So we're going to do the same thing that we did. We go ahead and you can click Analyze, go down to Compare Means, then you click on One Sample T-Test. Bring that, make sure the var 0001 has been brought over into the test variables, and our test value box underneath, make sure you fill in and put 40 because we put in what our mu is, okay? So now we are given what our p-value is. Sorry, too many things open. Which I got 0.995. And I think actually, sorry, I gave you guys the wrong instructions. You go to Analyze, Compare Means, and then you have One Sample T-Test. Put in that. Okay. One Sample T-Test. Sorry, it gave me the other one I'm looking for. Sorry, just give me a second. Compare Means. Give me One Sample T-Test. Yes, that's what I want. Bring that back over. Options. Okay. Okay, so let's do this again. All right. So it gives me my p-value, which once again, it is in the SIG two-tailed box in One Sample Test. And the answer is 0.995. Now, we are not going to divide by 2 this time because the information given to us shows us that our alternative hypothesis is the mu is, we have the equal sign with the slash through it, 40, which means that the sig two-tailed portion is, we don't do anything with it. That's what our p-value will be. So then it asks us, what decision do you make? Well, the p-value is going to be much greater than the level of significance. So what do? We fail to reject the null hypothesis because it's greater, remember? So then question 13, it says you decide to try another alternative hypothesis. Now this time the alternative hypothesis is saying that the mu is less than 40. So, and it's asking us, it's telling us we keep the same level of significance, but it's asking us, did the p level increase or decrease? So what do we do here? All we have to do, it's really simple. We take the p-value that we got from question 11 and we're going to divide it by 2. And the reason for that is because if it's the p-value in the area and the tail to the left of statistics is less than 98.6, the sig two-tailed gives us the area in both tails. So in order to get either to the right or to the left of that area, we just simply divide by 2, which that's how we find the area to the left of the test statistic, okay? So then that'll give us half of what 0.995 is, but still, that is still greater than the level of significance of 0.01. So then it's asking us in question 14, what decision do you make? Well, the decision we make is we still fail to reject the null hypothesis because it's the answer is of 0.995 divided by 2 is still greater than the level of significance of 0.01. And that's how we know to fail to reject the null hypothesis. All right, so moving to question 15, it's asking us, it says, now construct a 95% confidence interval for the true mean wait time between births at the hospital. So this is also pretty easy, guys. Since we already have the information in SPSS, all we need to do is you're going to go ahead and close. So we have our SPSS. So we're going to go ahead and close the output of the t-test. We don't need that information right anymore for this. So close that out, but keep we still have the SPSS pasted information. No, sorry. It's my computer's slow. Okay, so we still have the pasted information in the variable 0001 box from the 21 numbers of 59 through 61, okay? All we need to do now is we need to click Analyze, and then we go down to Descriptive Statistics, excuse me. Then we go over to Explore, okay? You click on Explore. We make sure that var 0001 is in our dependent list. And then we go over to Statistics. It's asking us for the 95% confidence interval, so we make sure under descriptives where it says confidence interval for mean, we put in 95%, so I have that, so I click continue, click OK, and now it's going to bring us up our output for that information. And really easy, it already under descriptives, it gives us the 95% confidence interval for the mean, the lower bound and the upper bound. So all we have to do is for question 15, we put in that number under statistic for the row lower bound, which is 23.4986. And obviously we have to round to 1 decimal place, so the answer would be 23.5 for question 15. For question 16, we just go back to that output box. For upper bound, the statistic is 56.59, so we need to round 1 decimal point, so the answer is 56.6 rounded. for question 16. And that is all. So hopefully that helped you guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and text me, email me. Sorry, I'm a little busy today, but you know, I'm always here to help. That's how I figured it out, Laura, and hopefully this helps you. So thanks so much. You guys have a great day.